A warm welcome to Whisky.com, where fine spirits meet. Today we have a whiskey, a Scotch single malt whiskey from the Isle of Skye. Since a few years there's a second distillery on the Isle of Skye, and this one is called Torabhaig, and this is from the Legacy Series, and it's called the Sound of Sleat, chapter number 4. It's 46% ABV and costs €59.90 at Whisky.com. It's uncolored and it's not too dark, so this is completely matured in American white oak, Quercus alba, the Latin name of this species. And Torabhaig is a relatively new distillery, as I said, and they will have those chapters. This chapter number 4 follows 3, 2, and 1, who has thought that, until they are able to release the 10-year-old. So I think the first one will have been the 3-year-old, and now every year later there's another one, so probably they are now at 7 years. And if I remember right, then the Torabhaig started operations in 2018? Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't take that for granted, just a guess. The specialty in this bottle is that it is, well, is a very smoky one. And this time they figured out, or they measured the ppm value of the smoke in the whiskey, or in 2 different ways, not different ways, to 2 different times. First time when they get the malt delivered to the distillery to their specification, and there they had 78 ppm. That's quite a lot more than on Isla's south coast. And then they measured the ppm value a second time after the distillation and the maturation. Distillation does not take everything from the wash into the final product, so the distillation distills and a lot is left behind, and those heavy compounds, those phenols, quite big molecules, they typically like to stay behind. And then during the maturation, then oxidization takes place through the staves, through the wall of the casks, and then oxidization takes place. And after this maturation, 14.5 ppm smokiness were left over. So here you can see that it's 4 or 5 times reduced. So 20% of this ppm value from the barley is left over in the final product. And this happens to all the single malt whiskies. All the single malt whiskies describe their malt value, because they order the malt from the maltings, or they produce their own malt to this specification. And during the distillation and maturation, the ppm value decreases a lot. So this is 14.5 ppm. Yeah, the bottle is called the Sound of Sleat. Yeah, so what does that mean? In Gaelic, it's called Linne Shlèite. 100% mispronounced. And I looked it up. It means something like the sleeping sound. So this is the sound between the Isle of Islay and the mainland. This is the sound directly behind the distillery if you reach it by the street. Yeah. So they have their own bottle with a not squared but roundly squared shape, and they have engravement here. So this is a very own bottle. And yeah, it's green, so it's very difficult for my editor to bring this bottle with a green screen I have behind my chair. So this is really difficult to produce this whiskey. And when I'm hovering or taking the bottle from the cask, then there might be some changes in color. It might be ghosty, you might look through, or it may be grayish because it reduces the green. So it's very, very difficult to have bottles in green or labels in green. This has a second problem because green is in the printing process. Green is a color very difficult to produce. So all the Irish whiskies with this green island and all the green, they have not only a 4-color printing, cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, they have an additional color green, clear green, because it can't be really good produced by mixing up those print colors. And so this is very, very difficult to have green ones. And so if you have very good, very tight. And you see smoke on the water. Ha! Bah, that's smoky, really. And this wasn't smoke, this was water vapor, evaporated by the pressure release, reduction. And if you now have an advertisement for this bottle in a print magazine, there are very few print magazines left, but our catalog from our company is still printed, then the green is really difficult to produce. Yeah. But all those new marketeers, they don't know that. They're producing for the internet, and that's right. But we have the problem with the green screen. So, so be careful which color you select for your promotions or your products. So very, very smoky. So 40.5 ppm in the final product, that's a lot more than several other distilleries which are known to be very smoky. Takes a while, very smoky. A little seaweed coming through. Perhaps a little bit of citrus notes in the back. But 90% is smoke. So all those peat heads, or how you call them, this is a bottle for you. A little fruitiness showing up, but still no special fruits. It's are there smoky fruits on a tree? No? Yeah. Cheers. Intense, massive, but juicy orange juice. And as soon as you swallow, spiciness appears, peppery, white pepper, long aftertaste, oakiness. No bitter oakiness, no, just spicy oakiness from those American white oak casks. And a remembrance of salt. There can't be salt in it because it's distilled, but there can be a hint of salt in whiskies which mature close to the shore. And if you have spray from the sea and this covers the casks, then the air passing through and the humidity of the air passing through might collect a few molecules of salt ions, to be more precise. Yeah, very intense, very full, very smoky. So, nothing for the light-hearted connoisseur, but for the experienced peat lovers. So, that's it for today. Catch you next time.